Okay, so for number 7, you're going to end up with factors of 24 that add to -10. So -1, -24, nope. -2, -12, no. -3, -8, nope. -4, -6, that's the winner. So x minus 4 and x minus 6. And for 16, factors, -1, -16, nope. -2, -8, that one works. So therefore x minus 2 and x minus 8. Okay, so what did we learn here? So what we learned here is that when we have x squared minus bx plus c, then our factors are going to have to be x minus and x minus. Both terms have to be negative. And that's because we are multiplying to a positive number and adding to a negative number so how do I say it? So it will require both numbers to be negative. So when we have a negative middle term and a positive last term, both terms have to be negative. Okay, so we had 2 positives, negative and a positive. Well, now let's try and look at another example. How about x squared plus 14x minus 72? X squared plus 14x minus 72. Well, if this case we have a positive middle term and a negative second term, well, how do we multiply to get a negative number but add and get a positive number? Well, what ends up happening is we're going to have one of each, and we're going to have to be careful to figure out which one has to be positive and which one has to be negative so that the middle term is done correctly. So let's look at what we're thinking about. We need factors of -72 that add to positive 14. Okay, so -72 is a bigger number, but we can look at our factors, starting with the first one. So -1 and positive 72. Is that going to work? No. Is positive 1 and negative 72 going to work? No. Remember, it could be one or the other because of how we have to add to 14. Then let's try the next one. -2 and 36 or 2 and negative 36. Are either of those going to add to 14? No. Okay, and so we keep going. -3 and positive 24 or 3 and negative 24? Nope, but we're getting closer. -4, positive 18 or 4 and negative 18? Yes, one of those works, okay? Which one of these will work to add to positive 14? This one, okay? And this is why we have to think about both options, because technically this multiplies correctly, but if you add those, you're going to get -14. We want positive 14, so that's why we want this pair of factors. So my answer is going to be x plus 18 and x minus 4. And again, remember, that also could be listed as x minus 4 x plus 18. It doesn't really matter the order, but I will tell you that I am prone to always writing the positive factor first on this type of problem. So when you're checking your homework, the positive answer will most likely always be written first. But remember, you can write it either way as long as the sign is correct within it. Okay. And let's go ahead and check this one. Just to verify that we did that one correctly. So when we multiply, we have x squared, negative 4x, positive 18x, minus 72. And when you combine like terms, you do correctly get positive 14x. Okay. Now the biggest issue that comes apart with these problems is that you're changing the wrong sign. Okay, so a lot of students sometimes will go with the second option and forget that they're trying to get to a positive number in the middle. So checking your numbers just to make sure is always a good option to verify that you have the correct answer before you grade it or turn it in for a test. Let's try another one. X squared plus x minus 90. Okay, now I'm sure you're probably thinking, why are you giving us such large numbers to think about? Okay, well, 90 is not crazy large, but I understand it's much larger than 10, 15, 24, and 16. But let's think about it. If I'm multiplying to a really large number, but yet I'm adding to a very small number, that probably means that my set of factors are not going to be very long. Okay, so when I'm finding factors of negative 90, we have negative 1, positive 90. Is that going to give me to a value of positive 1? No. 1 and negative 90? No. Because the numbers are so big, am I ever going to get to a small middle number? No. So sometimes starting with the factors at the very beginning doesn't make sense. Sometimes thinking about what factors could be in the middle would make sense, right? But it kind of just depends on you and what makes sense for finding factors. Okay, now if you think about it, the factors that make the next most sense to think about are factors that are close to each other because we want to get to a very small number in between them, right? And so with thinking and with trial and error or listing all your factors, hopefully you will soon realize that 9 and negative 10 or negative 9 and positive 10 are the options you want to be looking at or thinking about. So looking at those two options, which one's going to get me to a positive 1 value? Well, that's going to be this one. So our answer is x plus 10, x minus 9. Okay, and again, verify that. You multiply, you're going to get 10x and negative 9x. So we'll get a positive 1x in the middle. Okay, so I'm going to leave number 11 for you to try on your own. X squared plus 6x minus 72. Give you a number that you kind of already been working with.